buddy.
Oh, wow, that's a very cool background.
Do you like
I'm
them?
I vote for keeping that one.
I thought you might
I
like it.
I vote for it because, hey, look at me.
Oh, look at that. Hey, you
Huh?
got that at WarrenCon, didn't you?
Yes,
When we
I
went?
did. I
What?
did. We got that. Got it at WarrenCon, next to the table of fame.
Yeah,
I,
right.
I, I mean, I think there was like, like 3,500 or 4,000 people over a period of a couple of days
I couldn't believe it. It was
came to
huge.
that table.
Yeah.
Like the most of any table of all my years of going to Paracons that I've ever seen that many people come up to a table and just literally as if they were meeting the Beatles or Elvis or Elton John or um, you know Queen or some other, I think there were little girls that I saw that I thought were going to faint. Like they were crying and shaking and just tears. I
They were
mean,
excited.
it floored me. I was talking to my buddy next door. Remember the one at the table next door that had to do with the what's his name?
Yeah. The Conjuring House. Corey and Jen were next to
So
us.
me and him were talking, and
Oh my
we
gosh.
got to we
Funny.
got to speaking, and we looked at each other, and we both were like, we were speechless.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, I think I bet him like $20 if I was to go over there and say, "Hey, does anybody know who Grant Wilson is?" Or who is, where's the Hinsdale house located?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me my friend, and what this person has done in the, paranormal? All friends of mine, all good people. I say good things about, and that nobody, not one person would have known who they were, and
Mhm.
and it was shocking to me. I guess it's something I just got to be. It opened my eyes to a new beginning of life in the paranormal.
Yeah.
And I did talk to Dan about it. We got to talking, and he made a very good point. And it was one of, you're really either on board with this stuff now, or
Hmm.
you get left on the docks.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
Mhm.
either on the boat and you're out there, or
Yep.
you're looking at the boat leaving the dock. So
Yeah.
we've got a very unique situation tonight. Our guest has not but yet arrived. If anybody spots a UFO, I mean, no, I'm sorry, or a
Mhm.
man walking down the boulevard with a new hairdo,
He's coming. It's just California time.
our buddy Scott
Well,
Greenwald. He's got kind of that flock of seagull look. And I ran.
it's just
I
California time.
always give
Hang
Scott
out,
a hard time.
everybody. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
John
but
and Joanna. I just see your chats now. Hi,
see, look at
everyone.
them over there. Yeah, but
Thanks, John. I found the background. I'm glad you approve. Thanks. Thanks.
that is a very cool background. But we decided to do something tonight. In the meantime, of just kind of having some hot item, button whackers there that
Those
we could
pockets here, at least.
hit the hit the buttons over that really kind of get you in the paranormal. Um, just to kind of chat about. I know that right now we're kind of in the season of waiting for the shows to get either they're going to get spun for another season, or they're going to be
Yeah.
on the added to the list of added to the list of getting added
Uh-huh.
for the future, where they're going to be having reruns the rest of their life. So
Yeah.
I will tell you, I hope Destination Fear. I will tell you, I will tell you, I really hope they do. I will tell you that those young kids have came full cycle, and now they're putting out their last. When they were at that infirmary or that place that was super wicked haunted, and they got the full apparition that ran past down in the hallway. Uh, that was that was really crazy. Did you? I
It
don't know
was.
whoever saw that, but
Yeah.
so people like to say, "Oh, there's a lot of unkindness out there. Oh, that was this," and I'm like, could we just give some kudos to a show? I do know that everybody, and maybe in the chat or out there listening, whatever, um, has their shows, and that's a great thing. But we in the interim, I think there are some, and my
Mhm.
whole comment was that are really starting to get to that level of some really quality evidence. And I don't. How does everybody feel out in the chat? Let's just go there. Are you more about a show that's that entertainment value that's like and you got your popcorn and you spill it all over your living room and you like to be
Do I
spookified?
get to weigh in?
Huh?
Do I get to weigh in on this?
Yeah, that's what I was. You
Oh,
can.
okay.
Are you a one of those? Is that what you like, or are you more evidence based? Do you want to really see that what they get on cameras and EVPs and pictures? Because there's we could kind of go both. So what a kind of maybe in the chat, or you want to chime in or something else. But what I've kind of said how I am. Of course, being kind of a tech guy, yeah, you see some out there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
Hi,
what's your
Christopher.
thoughts,
Good to see you.
Kelly, as far as what you like in a show and
Well, me, like, I like to be pretty neutral on topics. Like, I like to be kind of like look at everyone's side of things and,
sure.
not be too, um,
Yeah,
not be too opinionated one way or the other because I see everyone's side generally.
sure.
Lately, I'm finding that very difficult. But
Yeah,
I've been opening my
exactly.
mouth more than I maybe have been. But
Yeah,
I would say that, I mean, for me, it's all about the educational part of what I do or part of watching a show. And I think a lot of times you see the investigation tactics or you see a team investigate, you see the place, you hear the history. But when it comes to recapping the evidence, or go how they're going about it or what the tech part of that does or how the sensitive derives what they do from the situation, I think it's more entertainment value on many of the shows versus something that's more explanatory, so that would be that education piece. Because yes, you want people to be interested and you want to have, share these poignant experiences, and of course pick up the entertainment value for ratings. However, the beauty of having all these platforms now is that you can share your
right.
strategies and you can teach and you can educate and you can show what's morally and ethically appropriate investigation. And I wish more shows would do that because I don't think that, I think that's something that a lot of them are lacking. So,
That's a good point. I've sadly seen, and I'll keep it like you spoke of neutral, and I won't mention names on with this, but I have seen that some of the peeps out there in the paranormal world uh, have gotten to be where they were before, and they went out there and they did what they did, and they had a good show, they had a good run of it, and then now they're looking to hit this another whole show that they want to have, and it's almost like before when they were on this other show, they were kind of approachable. You could might maybe go meet them or be out there. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, then all that went away. And
mhm.
now they're like, hey, you see a lot of this. You see a lot of, hey, watch my content, watch my content. It's going to come up, it's coming out. And then you look and it's like, oh, well, it's on all these new programs, Hoovoo, Poovoo, Woodoo, Scoodoo, Skippy Doo, Hoop,
Creating
Hoop.
networks right now, ladies and gentlemen. And John, I agree with you in your comment. I wish the same thing.
Yeah, all the
And Flip, you know this for sure.
the pay to see me
Mhm.
platforms, and that's a whole nother topic, right?
Right.
Is that is it that now it's like that's what they're going to, is that, oh well, if you want to watch me,
Yeah.
our platform is this. And then what's painstaking, is you get a lot of them saying, well, why aren't you watching my content? Is because when you've got, how many friends, I mean, we have in the paranormal that we do by the hundreds and the
All of them.
hundreds,
We have all
that go out there and they get this content, and
Yeah.
then it's so much to see them. If we did that for every person, we in fact would be the ones over here in the bread line getting a cup of water and a little cup of rice, and then living underneath the tent. I mean, they would hit, and that's where it would be, because those things are costly when you start adding them up over time. So I guess where I'm getting to be with this is, does it have to be to have the good content? We've moved to that. I talked to somebody 2 days ago that told me that in not too long, in the not so long future, that cable and all of that it's gonna be all, literally, it's gonna get to be all pay, pay per view,
streaming.
pay.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's all of it's gonna be. And then
Hmm.
if you have any, you're gonna be paying for it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you get to thinking then, well, I guess that's what they wanted to accomplish all along. They
Hmm.
strong arm you to it. If you want it, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so let's throw it to the chat too. What about we don't want you to share ideas that could be stolen right now, but is there something you'd like to see come up on a show? Like, is there an idea that you think would be really a really great idea for a show? Because our guest, like when Scott comes on, I mean, he had a pretty creative idea for his show that he'll tell us about. But is there an idea that you think would make a good show?
I,
What would make a good show? Everybody
well,
can in on that.
so we know the haunted locations. We know to and fro and here and there. But I, yeah, I tend to think that there are still the opportunities to go out and have, uh, and as long as we don't do any type of paranormal HIPAA violations,
Yeah.
that the opportunity to go out and do these investigations kind of connected to residential, um, that you're getting kind of fresh, real stuff right there. And
Yeah.
you literally have to go out and, I mean, I guess you have to have people that work with you to go out and say, hey, have you had, paranormal? Would you like to talk about it? Then they send some vetters out, because you got to think residential cases, probably more likely than not,
Yeah.
there's been nobody there.
Right.
And especially if you go and you do some, and you're like, wow, this is a really super active location.
Hmm.
Um, because if you're doing the others, you're going to these well-known locations, then you tend to think it's just another kick at the cat. We know it's haunted there. We see that. It's hard to spin that.
Yeah.
Um, there's so many other places though I would like to see that get to be investigated. If they are famous or well
Yeah.
known, that maybe it's not been investigated.
Yeah.
And then we say, hey, we look to go do those. Uh, so, but as far as when you say new, um, you would literally have to, for me, I lean towards, there's lots of people out there that need the help.
Everybody
That,
in the chat, what would make a good show? What's something that's lacking that would make a good show? I mean, you don't tell us exact ideas, of course, but
I mean, if
just some
all,
things. Like, I think the educational part of it needs to be amped up, and I think the
so
evidence review. So, like, as soon as you're getting this evidence and you're capturing it, I think it's really crappy to try
that's
to
a,
listen to audio through multiple streams of audio to understand what it's saying.
that's a
So,
good point.
I
When
think
you
they should up
mentioned
that.
about that, I had a small run of that, yes, was stolen. I'll just go there. Paranormal educational uh, little, uh, little show that I had, and The next thing it was gone. But uh, I talk about that because I think that if you had that on a show, that the way you'd have to try to spin that to make it where people would really want to watch it to get the views is when you do go out and you investigate these locations and you're there, you try to explain to people that phenomenon. Well,
Yeah.
this is what you're seeing that you think could be
Yeah.
that, and we're going to show you why it's not.
Right.
And then if you get stuff that's like, wow, we tried to debunk that and we couldn't, you probably really have something here. But
Yeah.
you teach them the one thing I think
Oh,
we need to
Christopher, that's a
share
good point.
is that you show something that makes so it's not demonic, because so many people always lean towards when out there in the lay world go, oh, it's something, I saw something dark, a shadow, and it's demonic, and we need to share that with them, it's not always that. Christopher said something that pulls from different cultural and spiritual beliefs and methods. Well,
That's a great idea.
I see that being something beautiful coming from a beautiful person.
He would, yeah, I was gonna say he would be the utmost
Super, yeah. You could use,
respected person for
he
that.
would be the one to be not only probably on the show and leading the troops, but um, I would love to be his tech guy, just on his team,
Yeah.
because he has that inside his spirit, his heart. He has that where he also has those innate abilities that, being born and having that with him. That's something that's so special.
Yeah.
Can't make up, right?
Mhm.
You don't. You have that. You just and he's a wonderful person, and probably one of the few people out there that see and know of in the paranormal that I've got to not only get to know and speak with, and then us have him on the show, but
Mhm.
just when you talk to, you just kind of are in awe. It's like, wow, what a genuine person. So
Yeah. Oh, I
that,
have another idea. Speaking of not keeping my mouth shut, here's another idea for you. Okay. Are you ready for this one? Are you ready for this one? I have
sure.
so many thoughts in my brain lately that I can't even take it. All right, so here's one. I think we're going to take all the people, including you, including you. I think we're going to take all the people that love technology and put them in a room with no technology and see what you
Yeah.
experience without any technology whatsoever. And see if you automatically talk yourself out of those experiences, or if you have more experiences because you're not reliant on your technology and you're more hypersensitive, or you have natural experiences and you think, oh, I wish I would have my technology here to validate that. So it
Right. So
essence gives
that's
you a little bit of
interesting.
like hypersensitivity. I think that's what we should do. It'd be like Big Brother, but I would be in charge of the show.
Well, the phenomenons are that have had with all of them go back to what we have on in our body, right?
Right. Yeah.
We have
It's our main tool. Absolutely.
our brain, right? We have a sensory of seeing things. We hear things, we feel things, and I've had all that happen to me at times where I didn't even have time to get my equipment set up, and I
Yeah.
was seeing things happen, and we were hurrying trying to get things to document it, because as well as I do, you hear all this about these phenomenons, and you go, and this happened and that happened, and the people say, well, did you record it, did you
Right.
document it, like, where is it? And if you
Yeah.
don't, what's the first thing they think?
It didn't happen. But
It didn't
again,
happen.
that goes back to the fact that if this were a show, there would be cameras on you. Okay. So, like, you'd be having those experiences or not. And also, it wouldn't be for you to prove anything. It would just be for you to see what experiences you would have without that. See, we could put John McGinnis. John, are you still in the chat? We put you in the room with no technology. Definitely Flip in the room with no technology. I could just
Yeah.
start listing, and then maybe like John Covey and I would like be in the back and like watch the monitors and
Well,
see what's happening to people.
I see this happen on some other show. I've seen some things that have happened. One of the things I do say that the minimal thing that you do need to have for safety's sake at all is when we go into these buildings or wherever it might be we're in, probably one of the minimums is you do need the camera to be trying to record. And if it's in the dark, so that, right, is that
Yeah.
you probably do need to have a flashlight for safety's sake. Because if something happened enough to make you want to quickly get your way out of that building, you need to have a flashlight. Because the
Oh my
worst,
gosh, you guys! Flip's tag teaming against me here. Yeah,
yeah, or if we switch
it's like he
roles,
knows.
if
Uh-huh.
if if we switched roles and put other people uh into that and to have, yeah, and
All
so
right,
that's a
you're
good.
not
Well,
supposed to tag team against me in the
well,
chat. All
well,
right.
here's one of the things you bring up, a good point, and I'm just going to go there. Let me just dig in and go there. I think that there have been shows where people who were being filmed and they were in a location for an extended period of time and they
Yeah,
were being viewed, and then they wanted to kind of see what the outcomes were. I'll just leave it at that.
yeah,
You figure it out, okay? Anyway, I think that that needs to change though every time a new episode or something's going to happen. You
uh-huh.
need to see what different people are going to react in
Yeah,
these scenarios, because you
yeah,
got to understand, if you keep having the same people on the next step and the next and the next and the next, you got the same person, you just got another building, and you go, so this one you go, the last building you went and this one you go oh, so you're still, or you cry and and until you're dehydrated or
uh-huh.
whatever. So my point is this: yes, have a show. Yes, have, those ideas are good, but have different people. You need to have different people, because if not, you're not getting to extend that for the people, the thousands. Well, that watch the. They said they have it in.
I get it. They want to be consistent. They want to have consistency, and I get it. But I think there's some beauty in the diversity as well, like
Well,
people's reactions or sensitivities or, preferences of technology. And I
yeah,
think
because
there's some beauty in that. So to have a consistent group is nice because you feel like there's some sort of more um, reliability in their results. But, if they react the same way each time or they use the same tools to
well,
investigate, then, you're not getting as broad of a picture as you could perhaps if you had some more diversity. I have two very needy dogs right now. Like they weren't needy all day, but now they
oh
are.
well,
So,
that
of course, this is the
Petey,
hour of the day that
Petey,
they're going to be needy.
yeah,
Of course.
Petey was that way
I'm
earlier.
surprised if everyone's not hearing them right now because I think
I
maybe
hear a
it's
little bitty
late.
pitter patter, a little breathing stuff, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure that I'm gonna, fluff some feathers backwards and potentially,
Backwards.
have some, folks are gonna, I can't look. If you're in this business and you can't take some rough, rough feathers there, then you probably need to evaluate where you're parked,
Yeah.
because it's not all cupcakes and rainbows. People are gonna say how they feel, and if that's not something you like, well, then
All
you
right, let's
probably
throw another question to the chat.
okay.
What do you all like better? Do you like investigations of big public well-known places, or do you all prefer, and I'm talking about investigations not just going to them but shows as well. Like, do you enjoy watching investigations of places that are big and well-known and public and seeing the different evidence that's collected each time, or do you like shows or investigations of more private, lesser known places?
Tracy Antoinette
Everybody has a
just
bucket list of places.
Tracy just made a comment about you. If you just saw it,
Oh, thanks, Tracy.
uh,
Aw,
she is
I
meeting
miss
doing
her.
the line with the fabulous, fabulous
Keith's most
little,
prized possession, Kelly number 2, made it through the tornadoes this
yeah,
week. Rest assured,
Kelly B.
make
Is,
sure that everyone, I can sleep easier tonight knowing that I'm fine, safe in
yeah,
Texas.
Kelly B
Yeah.
is looking to, here she goes off the air. So yeah,
Okay, so Flip says both. Christopher says both. John has a comment. Josh Heard used to put people in locations by themselves and have them use their senses to see what kind of reaction would happen. And I agree with you, John. I think that's really, really interesting. And it's not just for fear's sake. So for me, that fear is what brings ratings to things generally, or that
Yes, good
surprise
point.
factor. It's not just for fear's sake. It's for enlightenment's sake and experience sake, and people who really would love to have experiences and maybe haven't. And so I definitely agree with you. I think it would be more of that.
Well, that's interesting because think of that what just got said. If you put those people who are on shows now and they put them in a room and things really aren't going down, then what do? There's nothing there, so then it gets to be kind of stringing it along. Nothing's happening. It doesn't
But I
make for
think that's
rating.
important too. I think like it's really important to also show the times. And there were shows that used to do that. They don't do it as much anymore, of course,
No,
for ratings, but they used to show. There were shows that would show the team going in and investigating and nothing would happen, or they'd review the evidence and really not get very much. And that's true. That's what really happens. Like sometimes you don't get anything,
it's
or
yeah,
sometimes it turns out to be, misconstrued facts from the owner of the property
it's
or
that's
something, an issue like that. So that's real,
yeah.
instead of
That you bring up a good point, and you hit it where I was steering towards. This is the
is that a
paranormal,
Texan saying, Keith?
huh?
Is that a Texan saying right there? Is that what you
You
just said?
put me right where I was steering the boat towards. Yep,
A Texan saying?
I got a million of them. So yeah. So that's
Oh,
exactly it, Kelly. Is that you? If you've got some of the people that are on the shows, and these are the
right.
ones who
Tracy has it. Yeah.
say, um, they get they get befuzzled and something happens and they're like, ah, and it's like you're on a paranormal show, you're
Yeah.
on something that stuff's gonna happen,
Right.
and
Yep.
they're like, they jerk their headsets off, they go, I can't do that, and then you get the guy who's the alleged mind reader or whatever that goes, there was something fear here, there was a terrible situation happen. Well, yeah, it's
Mhm.
you've already had time to read the fact that somebody died there, and or was murdered or whatever, and you did this to me, or you pulled my hair, or
Okay, so
called me a
here's
bad.
another thing. Since I clearly don't have, I'm clearly letting all my opinions out this evening, so I'm on a roll. Anyhow, so here's another thing. I would like them to go to some places that are not necessarily like they have teams, they have historians, and they have fact searchers. I would like some teams to go to places that they do not have all that background on.
Oh yeah, or you guess
So
what?
they're starting
Guess
like
what?
I like to know as little about a place as possible when I go in, and then I get validated along the way or thereafter. But I think other teams should do that too. Like
Or
actually,
what?
take the
Yeah,
equipment, start with a clean slate, not know about a place,
have
keep
them.
all
They
that
don't.
stuff secret and
They don't
and
get
sacred.
to. Hey, they
You know?
don't even get to know. They got equipment in the truck.
Yeah.
The guy that's supposed to be the all amazing Wizard of Oz. Oh, I read minds in all countries. I've been doing this for 78 years. I'm amazing. Pay me $25,000 an episode or whatever. Um, so that you get them, and as you get to
John.
see, it's
John.
probably more than that now.
And
But
Tracy has one of the plantations. Yes.
yeah, yeah, you see, yeah, exactly. John McGinnis, exactly. Yeah, cat balls or toys, stuff you could buy at the local hardware store. Yeah, but it's that with those very same people, if we switched where you have a team that knows what's going on, where they're
Hmm.
going, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you say stop, guess what? Get in the van.
Get in the van.
Get
What
it
kind
here.
of show is this? Get in the van. Just get
Yeah,
in the van.
you get
I don't know
in
if
the
it's like
van.
Scooby
They
Doo or
got
like
they got
Smooth
they got
Fly.
one
I don't
person
know
in
what
this
he's
car, one
syndicated
person in
shows.
another. The equipment's there, everything's there. Off we go. And
Off we
when you
go.
get there, it's somewhere that they truly haven't been. And then okay, here's some equipment. Now go up in there. And
Yeah.
then the all amazing mind reader, the all
Yeah.
amazing
Andrew, that's
powerful
right.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
um,
Flip would get in the van if you had eggs.
you get them out and they have to do they have to do their discipline based on where they are in this building. But they cannot talk to the rest of the paranormal crew. They can't. They don't get to say nothing. But they have another team, somebody that's went in there and they know what's there. And then they compare and they look at them at the end of the show and say, well, here's what we found. Now, would it be calling people out? Oh, absolutely. But how isn't it high time that that's what happens with all this? We have done.
Well, I think it's about calling, like in certain instances, I think it would, but in other instances, it would also show that diversity in your experience, your intention of going in to investigate, spirit interaction. Sometimes it's really a hot spot of a particular place, and then other times, you sit in the dark all night and you don't get any, know, evidence. So I think it would show a little more diverse picture of what actually happens. If they had places like that, not just for investigator viewing, but also for technique viewing, but also for evidence,
I agree.
Yeah. What else do you really want to know my opinion on tonight, buddy? Because I will tell you clearly, and I will just tell you, whatever you want to know.
Remember, we are the 95 percenters. There's the 5% that are out there that are getting to ride around and a Suburban getting dropped off at the Paracons, and they don't want to do the Paracon unless they get their.
If they're going to send a Suburban for us next time, I need like some steps.
$10,000, stipend, the hotel, the food, or I'm not going. It's amazing when if there's no pay, no play, you don't see them. Where's so and so? Oh, he's not here. Anyway, and then the other 95 percenters are there supporting the cause. So with that being said, I would love to see more along. We not only mention the educational, but we do get into of the benefit of how we go out and educate, even if we started at the high school level and started saying, look, people who have had experiences, what have you had? We start to bring those out. You may have kids that have these abilities, or they're all scared about things that have happened or what they see on TV shows. And we tell them, guess what? That's not the case. What you see on there is not the case. We know it, you see it, and you don't have to call out necessarily the show. That's not really the point. Right. But when they go, we're going to say, when I got, but you educate people enough to where they get to realize, wow, most of these you're saying aren't. That's what we're telling you.
Right.
It's just that rare. If we go through, even on an event, if we go to and investigate and have at a Paracon or whatever, we have that, how many times at a location do we go and we could say, okay, let's go from the 7 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Right.
And then write down how many actual consensus of paranormal events did we have. And we say over the night, we had 4 events over this many hours.
Yeah. But we all know, you all know it's going to change depending on the date, time people are there, that sort of thing. Like it's going to change too. Tracy asks, have you ever been to Myrtle Grove Plantation? I've not been to Myrtle Grove, Tracy. I was to Castlewood a few weeks ago, but not Myrtle Grove. Have you been to there?
No, I don't. I haven't. I've seen one that's going to be. I'm going to be going with the Paranormal Twins. I need to get because I still have an open ticket on that one, open spot to get to go. I didn't get to go a couple years ago. We went on a cruise, and so I didn't get to go. But that place that is the used to be the hospital that's in Texas, the little small one that has the tall shadow figure. Yeah, they're going to be there at kind of the end of March where it's still kind of cool. Okay. I want to go there because they said that place is wicked haunted. So, I do want to go there. So,
and John has another good point. He'd like to see more science behind the field, and I agree, John. because now we're getting the technology, like I had said in a prior episode, I'm sure that, I believe the purpose for any sensitive on an investigation is to validate not only the spirit, but also, the equipment, and the equipment validate us. And I think now we're getting along those lines that we can overlap, and hopefully, correlate as far as our evidence and what we're experiencing. So I agree with you totally. I think more of that.
So, John, that's a good point. And when we talk about in a science and we talk about some of these locations and we're trying to make those type labs or something, if you will, kind of is, I don't know how I'd say, sterile enough to be to where we don't.
And Dover Paratech, not to interrupt you, Keith, but that's a good point too. I mean, I'm glad you're joining us and weighing in on
that. It's hard to
it is
detect
hard
when you have to have a clear and what is you're trying to detect in the first place. At that point, we have no ideas. Yeah, and this is a field where it's not like medicine, right? It's not like what I've done, where I've worked in pre-hospital medicine, and we have pretty much sciences that are fact-based, and we have those protocols we go by, and they're very strict because they're evidence-based practices, right? I tried to come up with something that was on a form of evidence-based practice, but when you in the paranormal, but when you have them, everyone has to follow everything to a T. If it's Bob down here in San Antonio or Steve up on the East Coast, people have to follow those type protocols if they're going to be calling light anomalies or EVPs, or the way that we take pictures and how we can, Tony Rothman is one of the ones out there who came very close to having almost like a lab setting where he was actually had enough equipment set up. But he does amazing things in the world of like EVPs. He's got these equipment that he's able to really get closer and closer and closer to actual, spirit communications. And he knows how I feel about light anomalies. And Robin's in the chat. There's been, over the last 3 weeks or so, I've actually seen more and more evidence that people send, and they will have something that happens to an object, even on these shows that Paranormal Caught on Tape. Now, these are people that send stuff in, right? And they have to evaluate it, then they comment on it. And you'll see something sitting there, and then you'll see this anomaly, and it kind of darts across and hits it, and then you'll see something fall over. Now, say what you want. You can say, well, our typical, well, that's a bug or that's dust. Now, does a dust have enough mass and enough of that energy or that to actually take a solid big object with weight and then that said object to be able to fall, right? That's very doubtful. And then we get into bugs. Now, if you say bugs, it's possible. But I don't know about you, and just being kind, I didn't see any wings on that object. I just didn't. Sorry. No antenna.
But no antennas. If you said that, it wouldn't. That's not ratings. That's not leading.
Well, right. So what we can say then is that being, if it's not normal, if it's right, then we're saying, okay, that's not normal. How that happened, we could lean towards the fact. But it's amazing how we start doing this type of communication we're doing here right now, and people are like, I get bored with that, because you're trying to really explain it and get down to that sign, or get down to where we're really giving some sort of from our education, our experiences, and put it out there. And then people are like, well, there's no scare factor to it. That doesn't scare me. And then what happened?
If it doesn't scare you, that's good.
And we tell people that if you get yourself or me and we're running out of a building, that means something's really bad has happened.
Have you ever done that, buddy? Have you ever run out of a building? Because I had somebody ask me
paranormally, I've never,
paranormally,
I've never evacuated a building.
Yeah.
I did have something whisper in my ears that I did have to find a restroom. Uh, but I checked
Okay, well,
that.
that's good.
I checked that okay from the front and back end. I was okay. I was dry.
Somebody
So
asked me that. I've never run out of a building. Somebody just asked me that not long ago. I've never run out of it. I've never been
it
terrified
turned
that I've run out. But there are startling things, and as someone who sees, it can be
yeah.
startling. But I also have a rule. And my rule is that and Flip knows this rule. I'm never first. I'm always in the middle. I'm never first or last. With my height, I like to be in the middle of people going into a room.
It turned my shoes
So,
backwards. I did kind of do an about face so quick that it turned my shoes around. And I turned around and I knew it had to be something kind of just playing. And I
yeah.
says, do not do that again. That was not funny. It ain't funny. Okay? Just stop. I said, if you want to play, I'm going to set up some toys and you can play with them. So I finally get down there, had a flashlight. I kind of set some things up across a little grid.
Yeah, you were. I did it. It was my fault. I did it. He's
The
blaming me.
alcoholic.
It's
So
my
that
fault.
was Flip. So then when that happened, sure enough, the spirit that was playing with me, I even asked. I said, "Was that you trying to scare me?" And you heard this lightest little. It's me. And I said, "Well," I said, "That ain't funny." I said because it turned my shoes backwards. So it's amazing how those of us who have been around this any time at all can say, well, I I'm not looking to go out there and have something horrible happen. I want to get there and maybe have something more profound, like we
Yeah.
get some good, like some great, like a really amazing fun. We get this picture, we get this amazing EVP. I tell you, at
Chad,
Penn.
yes, that was a pretty good experience, Chad. Yeah, the police officer just recounted the story himself to me the other day. Yeah.
Oh, I seen the one that was on the show with the scream. Did you see the one where it was on TikTok?
Oh
And
no, this was a friend of ours. We were at Moundsville, Chad. We were at Moundsville, West Virginia State Penitentiary, and a friend of ours just ran over everybody else to get out. And he's in
oh, okay,
and he exited
okay.
stage left
Well,
pretty quickly.
on TikTok, it was crazy. You saw one officer and then like a female officer, and they had their flashlight. They're doing their thing, and they're walking in there, and you hear this scream, and they're like, "No!" I mean, they bolt and run. They didn't stop. They didn't look. They just left, and it was pretty haunting. It was like a cemetery that they were getting sent to, hearing strange sounds.
Yeah.
And of course, they got in there and they bolted.
That's right, Tracy. No attaching spirits to us. Nope, nope, nope.
Yeah, that's when
no, Tracy.
You tell them, look, I came to talk to you. We had a great time. I kind of feel like we got a little, I'll come back and see you, but you can't come hang out with me. I'm way too busy. And after a day, you wouldn't want to be my friend anyway. So just stay here. But yeah,
no jumpers. That's right, Robin. No jumpers.
Absolutely. No jumpers. Robin
and Andrew, I didn't miss your comment about your house in Wyoming, because I'm sure with the history of that area, you probably have quite a bit of energy that's there. Absolutely.
Oh, Robin's house is an airport. There's like this little miniature little control tower. And I mean,
okay, so here's what I think we should do, buddy. I think we did this before a little bit, but now we have the technology that I think we could do it a little bit easier. I think we should do an evidence show, an evidence reveal show. So we could get as many people on to share their evidence as what we can, like poignant pieces of evidence. Because I know Robin got to share a little bit when she was on, but
she's got some new stuff.
Yeah, she's got some new stuff, and I know some people in the chat have.
So you just heard it, folks.
We might have to do a bonus show for evidence.
Here's where we're going with this. We said it was about the 95%ers. Well, you're that 95%. If you've got some amazing stuff that is like just wow factor that you can get out there, probably Kelly would probably be I know last time
What'd I do?
They sent some stuff to you or got it to you,
Oh, I
and
just want
then
to know who wants to come on, and then we'll get you on,
yeah,
and then we can
yeah.
show your evidence clip. It can be a picture, it can be audio, video, whatever. I actually have a few things that I've caught now, and I don't usually use too much equipment to
That's good.
investigate.
Yeah.
So,
So all this
I
is
have some
just
things now
fun.
I can share.
We
Yeah,
get it. Yeah, we get it on there. We can look and say what's people's thoughts, and that's what it's all about. Like this is a no hate zone or no judgment. We don't sit here. This is not that. You're not going to have that here. I can assure we're going to look and oh, that's interesting, because what do we always say when it comes to this? Was I there? No. Do I know? Absolutely not. You experienced that oh my god moment. It maybe scared you, or it was something amazing, made you cry
yeah,
like a spirit says, I love you.
yeah.
My brother said that to my his wife. He had passed from cancer, and I think it was their anniversary date.
Oh,
And he said, what do you have to say to Darla? And he goes, I love you. And
oh,
then, of course, there wasn't a dry eye in the room after that. It was just
right,
such an
right.
amazing moment. So yeah, if you've got it, send it out. And
I think we should definitely do a bonus show for evidence review. We have guests booked through like April, but I think we should do a bonus show. Maybe we'll throw that out. This is just totally off the cuff show, everyone, tonight. It's off the rails. It went different direction completely. But Andrew, he says it doesn't help having an actual wagon wheel from Pioneer Wagon in my basement. I mean, I'm gonna come talk to you about it. Like, seriously, you have between all the like dinosaur bones and like things you're collecting, I'm not at all surprised that you have things that are
yeah,
housing
those
energy
things
in
get
place.
well. That's part of the four groups, right? You've got the land can have paranormal, the building, the people of that, the living and the dead, and of course the objects of any said location. So you've
Yeah.
got some object from a super haunted,
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
John, did you catch that? Oh, John. Oh, we were at DeVille Inc. in Baltimore, and we had such a great night there with Ernie and Dave of Paranormal Inc. We did a public investigation there, and that I didn't know you had that clip still. Oh yeah, John, you'd have to come on and share that. It was a
Oh,
really, really, really good
secret
one. It
stuff.
was kind of some
Kind of spooky.
yeah, kind of really direct connection with that, and I thought that was good. And Flip was there too. I don't know if he has any audio from that night, but that was a really fun night for a small place. It was really active for sure.
Don't have to
And
be big to be scary. I mean, yeah, little small house. It's got a lot of history.
I know you will. I know you will. Okay, let's see. Tracy says her friend has an issue where the spirit's attracted to her son. It loves to scare them, and when they're always having to cleanse their house, invite her to the evidence show. Yeah, you should. Yeah. And John, Ernie said we're going back there. He just doesn't have a date yet. I'm ready when he is, because that place was pretty fun.
Spooky.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
we have some great evidence for sure.
Hey,
I've gotten some little video clips, some audio stuff. So, I mean, audio stuff and video clips through my cell phone, thanks to that being the only equipment that I carry with me and have to then decode how to figure out.
You do
Yeah.
have. That's true.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
true.
Yes, and oh, I clicked the wrong one. Tracy, I'll get right back to that. Dover Paradeck just says that they live near Gettysburg, and there's a lot of interesting things going on and around there. Absolutely. And then Tracy said, "What have I witnessed in Gettysburg?" I actually did. I don't know if I told you this story, buddy.
We got to save it for the show. No, let's so since it's going to be really amazing.
I can't tell you the story.
Well,
But
no,
Tracy asked.
I know, Tracy. Do you want her to save it for the show because it might be super amazing?
I don't have any evidence from it. It's just this. It's just what I was going to tell her.
Well, we're going to tell stories.
No,
Tracy,
let her tell. She says.
do you want to? She goes, let her. Oh, we're losing
See,
this.
this is what happens when I don't have a filter. They want to hear the stories.
Oh.
Okay, so the creepiest, well, I shouldn't say the creepiest. The most active place that I've been in Gettysburg is not one that's publicized. It was a private investigation of this place. A team asked me to go with them. And this is a place that's to be upcoming. A few of us signed a TV episode agreement for this place. So it's still withheld at this given time. However, it was such an interesting place because of the amount of energy that was in the place. We had anything from the energy that I was picking. We had all kinds of technological evidence, all kinds, video, audio. They were manipulating different things. Different parts of this location had different energies. So they had some like more elemental, almost, I don't like the term residual energy, that's personal preference, but that's kind of the same sort of thing, repetitive energy. They had child energy, they had soldier energy, they had more modern energy. And there was such a level upon level upon level upon level of history in the place. And now it's still operating modern day, and it's more the land where the energy was than this actual building. Right. And it was just nonstop the whole time we were there. So as soon as the episode is released where we can explain all of this stuff and what happened, it was a really, really amazing place. We had a lot of child energy, and people can say what they want about technology. No, Tracy, it was not on the battlefield. It was actually in town. It's actually a place that's in town. And we had a lot of interaction with child spirits that we could like physically see. They would trigger different lights in a row. We were getting a lot of true like direct responses to questions with our equipment, and spirits asking for me by name, which was really neat. Doesn't necessarily happen. Well, Flip catches it quite a bit. I don't always catch it on audio, but so it was a really, really, really neat place. And the spirits that were there were very, despite the trauma that happened in the town, of course, they were very obliging of our requests, and they were really, really interested in what we were doing. And I thought that was so poignant and unlike any other place in Gettysburg that I've been. So when the episode is finished and comes out, I will let you know which one it is. But
cool.
But that was the most interesting, and I'll have to tell you more in person. So, Tracy.
Yeah, everybody knows my situation in Gettysburg with the infamous sounds that happened. But that with what happened with, I know it was me and John in this space in Gettysburg. It was, I'll never forget those moments. From what, well, not only we took a picture, but we were getting on the ghost box, and just or on the Phasma actually. It was, now that was pretty creepy. But then I realized, I said, this is interdimensional. This was not but we'll talk.
Robin. No sounds. Robin is saying no sounds.
Well, I'm going to talk to Kelly about that, and maybe you'll get to hear the sounds on TV. That'd be, because I've got documentation of that event.
Yes,
and when it happened, and
yes.
So I was fortunate. It made me like, take pictures. I realized, you dummy, start taking pictures. There's something, and I took the 360 thing just around, and certain one of them came up, and then I said, "Oh, that's where it made sense." It's been looked at by someone else that did verify from what I told them. Let them look at it. So the explanation that they gave me is what I had. And then they said, yep, that's what I was thinking. I didn't put it in. They said, yep, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Well, folks, if we'll kind of start, if you have, again, for the future, if you can start getting, you can get with me or Kelly, and you can kind of give us a little fist bump and say, hey, I want to look at some stuff for this show that you have. And we have to start trying to piece, the people in.
Robin.
I know.
She's so funny.
I hear it often.
I just can't make the noise, she says.
Well, she knows too. We've chatted about that. So if and where she lives, that's my goodness. There's no, the walls could open up, and I would say I don't doubt it, Robin. Yeah. So if we could do that, we can start trying to get it all put in there to create a show.
Yeah.
And I think last time our show went over for that. It went kind of beyond, but it was a good quality show. Everybody enjoyed it. So here's your chance. This is what the Talking Tech Paranormal
Had we known that, to be fair, had we known that maybe Scott had something come up tonight or whatever. I just talked with him this morning, so I really think
Wes Coleman
he probably had something come up tonight.
Has anybody seen Wes Coleman? Oh, there he is right there. There's been a sighting. Look, there he is. Hey guys. Hey Wes, we were just talking about you. We were talking about the sound. Somebody said they wanted to.
No,
wanted you to make that sound.
Hear it.
Anyway, yeah, Wes is back in. Wes is back in Canada. But get with us about the show, because that would really be cool to get. That's what's really fun, is to hear different people who are out there and have had things happen, and we're like, whoa, look at that. And then you get to realizing that it's so fun to just share it and spend time with it. We have a blast on that last show. So
sadly we missed Scott tonight. We did talk earlier today, but evidently he must have had something, some sort of emergency come up or something, which is fine. We will reschedule him from another date. You don't want to miss him because he's hilarious. And we'll catch him the next time. But I enjoy talking about all these things with you. And I think a lot of good show ideas. So we'll know if anyone takes those.
Yeah, we definitely
down in your sleep.
We definitely vented our pipe a little bit on some things about, but it's because we want to keep this this feel to where it's there's some believability, some that folks can watch it and say that rather than it being a gong show and you're throwing popcorn.
You want a gong? Should I get one for the show?
Yeah. No, the gong show, you remember what it was all about,
I know,
right?
but that's what I'm saying. I could just get one and ring it.
Oh, that's if it's stuff that's bad. The gong show was when stuff was bad. And it's some of the stuff is that if you weren't making it on that show, he gave you
cowbell.
The gong.
Tracy, love it. No, Wes, no portal sounds. Robin already called it. She says no portal sounds tonight.
We could do the cowbell.
Oh, Tracy, you're the sweetest.
We could have Kelly B on here. Kelly B could come back for.
You could do a puppet show. I would wear it out. I would wear the cowbell out, Dover Paratech. I would wear the cowbell out or the gong. I don't care what it is. We'll get spotlights. I'd wear those out too.
I could see Kelly B.
blow light bulbs like immediately though, so I don't think spotlights are a good idea. But any sort of anything. I don't think we should give Keith sound effects. Is the moral of this.
Hey,
Tracy, I don't have my mermaid shirt on tonight. I have my Paracon party shirt on for Scott because he is a true Paracon partier with us. So this design is courtesy of Dead Is Not the End.
The ladies are in the house tonight.
In the chat, he's created this shirt, but this was my Paracon party shirt. So I didn't wear my shirt tonight. It was all that shirt, but
he requires more than a cowbell. More cowbell. We need more cowbell. We'll be in a drummer.
Oh, Tracy was talking about the mermaid doll. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that wasn't what we had in mind.
Wes said he loves the shirt. I need to get well, folks, that
it was a good design.
Pretty much gets us at the top of the hour. We started this.
So I guess
journey.
We should
send in your content.
As much as everyone wants to hear us longer. Yeah.
Content.
Yeah, we'll make a bonus show for sure.
We're gonna make a bonus show because we want to have that back to the folks. Yeah, that would really be fun.
And guess what? We're gonna give you all the credit for the evidence. Like the people that submit it. Whoever submits.
Oh no, it's your stuff.
Evidence. We're not taking it at all.
This is coming from Tracy. You keep it. You're getting it. Maybe put it on a platform to get it out there. And hey, Tracy, that's amazing what you captured. And
Yeah.
so good
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll do that for sure. Well, everybody, we are out of time for tonight, so we're gonna get off, but we will reschedule Scott for another time. And yeah, I know. Now I have the cowbell song stuck in my head too. And yeah, right. Exactly. I may have to watch the SNL clip before we go to bed. But anyhow, the dogs are ready for bed. So
I know. I
love
see them.
to lounge
They've been
around
Mama
here.
come to bed.
Yep. Yeah.
Chris,
Thanks
it's
everybody
I
for tuning
appreciate you
in.
joining the show. Chris Allen Brewer. If you're not haven't got time to spend talk with this guy, not only with his book, not only with the other things, what a sweetheart of a guy. We've had him on the show before. We really, really enjoy that. Really
Absolutely. And if you're somebody who wants to come on for our bonus show and share some of your evidence, just send either one of us, well, probably me, a message on Facebook, or Talk and Tech, our Facebook page on Instagram, or you can email us at talkandtechparanormal@gmail.com, and we'll have you come on and you can share some of your evidence. It can be photos, video, audio, whatever you choose.
Just make it about paranormal.
I got some. It'll be a Monday night, some Monday night. So 8 to 9ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we'll get you on and you can share some of your evidence. But our next guest will be on in 2 weeks. And we're not going to tell you who that is just yet, but you'll find out then. And yeah, I hope you have a good night. And thanks for hanging out with us for an hour. And Keith, I'm glad you didn't blow away this week with the tornadoes.
Yes, I made it. People saw my post. Thanks for the love and prayers. It was actually the very next street over. We did get damage to the vehicle and the house. They're probably but there's some people that you saw on the national news. They're the next street over from me. All right, so they lost their entire home. It's gone. There's nothing. So these people in this epicenter, it just, that tornado it just goes where it wants to go.
Yeah.
And it blew over the top and then it went back down there and just everything's gone.
Yeah. Well, we were happy that you all chose to hang out with us tonight. I'm happy you're safe. And we will be back in 2 weeks with our next guest. And maybe, just maybe, we'll book our bonus show. So if you have evidence you want to share, send us a message. So are you ready? Y'all, that's nice. And no noises, no portal noises. We got out of that tonight. Way to go, Robin. Way to look out for us all, Robin. So, all right, everyone, have a good evening, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Good night.
Night.